For exclusive content you should be seeing on the show, download the WWE app. It's the way to go. It is the end of the wrestling week, and I am the Nature Girl 30 with another NG Minute. I'm going to be giving you the highlights of TNA as well as SmackDown, and I'm also going to talk about the standings in the Bound for Glory series, as well as talk about the major storylines that's in SmackDown right now. But let's get started with TNA. Now, the major part of TNA at this point is the Bound for Glory series. And honestly, like I said before in my last review, in my last NG Minute, I am absolutely interested in this new faction between Bobby Roode, Christopher Daniels, and Kazarian. I am interested in these guys because honestly, we got Bobby Roode in second place with 34 points. Magnus is still the leader at 39 points. But then we also have Christopher Daniels in third place at 30 points. Well, Kazarian's really not up there. He's actually at 22 points, but I understand why they wanted Austin Aries. He's at 28 points. It would have been nice if Austin Aries actually decided to be a part of the faction, but knowing Austin Aries and his personality, he's actually for Austin Aries, so that's a given. We also had Gail Kim versus ODB. I'm actually kind of interested in them possibly creating some kind of a feud. But the match was kind of meh. It wasn't bad, but you know, it was okay. But the biggest highlight of the night was Loser Leaves TNA with the Main Event Mafia versus the Aces and Eights. And AJ Styles ended up coming up. He stepped up as the fifth person. So honestly, it was anybody's game. It was a really great match starting off, but at the end, Devon is gone. Yeah, don't get me wrong. I like Devon, but Devon's starting to get on my nerves. Not only that, they really don't have much for him in the storylines at all. So it really made sense for him to be cut, or at least, more than likely, he's probably going to come back. He's probably going to like take a couple of months off and just take a break. Then he's going to return maybe a few months later with a new storyline. But that was part of the big thing of the night. The major thing of the night is because everyone knows, the IWC and the YWC knows what happened to Brooke Hogan. We know she's no longer there. She's been cut. So are they going to continue with the whole storyline between him and Bully Ray? Her and Bully Ray. Yep, they sure are, but with a different Brooke. Brooke Tessmacher is now the new love interest of Bully Ray. Yeah, honestly, I really thought that this was just going to, crawl up and just die and just wither in the ashes and just go away. But unfortunately, they decided to continue with this thing. So, we'll just see. And now Tito Ortiz is on his side. For how long, I don't know. Because we know they have a really big fight in November. So, probably for the next 3 months that he's going to be around. And then all of a sudden, they got to come in with a filler. I don't know. All I know is that they're going to continue with this thing. And it's not really making me so happy. I'd rather it just go away. But for the Bound for Glory series, we have Joseph Park. He actually defeated Jay Bradley, Hernandez, and Christopher Daniels in a 4-way street fight. Of course, he brings out the Abyss in him, sees blood, and just goes, and just takes everybody out. But it's just, I really miss Abyss. What happened to Abyss? He's just bring Abyss out. I love me some Joseph Park. I heart Joseph Park. But I'm tired of them doing the whole Abyss, multiple personality kind of thing, like the whole Abyss side of him. They need to he either needs to be Abyss or he needs to just to be Joseph Park. Make up your mind. But of course, I love the X Division, and they had Manic versus Sanjay Dutt, which was a good match, and Manic ended up coming out on top. But honestly, I really wish they do a lot more with the X Division. I mean, on Impact, of course. I wish they do a little bit more with the X Division on Impact, but I don't know, I'm not really seeing much of anything. But that's just how I'm seeing it. But let's move on to SmackDown, shall we? Alright, people, it's SmackDown time. And not only that, SmackDown is really trying to prime itself up for the Night of Champions. So who would have ever thought that Randy Orton was going to come out? Well, actually, Vicky Guerrero invited Randy Orton to come out just for him to welcome him to SmackDown, blah, 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 blah. But honestly, it was all Daniel Bryan for me. Daniel Bryan really did walk circles around Randy Orton on the mic. Seriously, he really did. I really kind of thought that if anybody that screams on the mic as much as Daniel Bryan, you really don't have much to say. I was wrong. I really was wrong. The guy is really good on the mic. Compared to Randy, yeah, he is. But honestly, everything that he said was just something that just literally just stuck to people, because it's something that you really do feel. I really do feel that he pretty much had everything handed to him. Everybody thinks that. Everybody knows that. That's what really made this so well. He was scraping at the bottom of the barrel to literally get to where he was, and that's what made that whole segment wonderful. And I loved it. I really did love it. But then moving on to the match of the night, the first match of the night. Damien Sandow. Okay. Cody Rhodes defeated Damien Sandow on SummerSlam, and he defeated Damien Sandow on Raw. So why on earth would he lose to Curtis Axel on SmackDown? Makes absolutely no sense to me at all. But honestly, like I said, Curtis Axel is still, he doesn't wow me at all. I still have my own, I still have my own reservations about the guy. But this is a match that really did not go in the right direction for me, especially if it was a clean win. Dolph Ziggler defeats Big E Langston. Honestly, has Big E really had a shot? No, because it's freaking Dolph Ziggler. But I really hope that Dolph Ziggler will somehow break away from this whole AJ Lee ridiculousness and start being a wrestler all on his own. The guy really does have a great amount of talent, as well as being great on the mic. He does not need a woman to be behind him. He does not need a big burly dude to be in his way. Well, maybe, but either or, the whole issue with Dolph and Big E should have ended at SummerSlam. Seriously, it should have been done at SummerSlam. Stop bringing it up already. And I'm really happy that Big E Langston did change his whole attire. Good grief, I was tired of seeing his butt cheeks every day. Just ridiculous. But moving on from there. Honestly, Vickie Guerrero was completely fed up with what Daniel Bryan's done. And all in her infinite wisdom, thought it would be a great idea to have a steel cage match with her and Wade Barrett. Let's face it, guys. As much as I love Wade, Wade has not really been the best of winners. He hasn't been the best of fighters as of late. He's a great champion. He could be a great champion for the World Heavyweight Championship. I would rather see him as champion than Alberto Del Rio. But honestly, they have literally treated him like crap and practically spit on his face and stepped all over him for Lord knows how long. I just really think that the whole steel cage match would have been better with a better opponent, which had pretty much a shot of winning. But Wade Barrett didn't have a shot of winning at all. So why even have a steel cage match with this guy? But either or, that was the main event, and I'll get into that later. Alberto Del Rio defeats Christian, which means his one more match thing is about done, and I think they pretty much just stuck a nail in it and they're done with the whole Christian thing. And I'm like, if you're gonna bring the guy back, for crying out loud, at least give him a shot of winning the title. That's how I feel about it. If you're gonna go back and bring back a vet, at least have the vet have the title for a few months, work their way up to having the title for a few months, and then have them lose it, and then let them put over the young talent, because it's just a waste of talent. I'm sorry, it is. But now they're actually trying to begin a feud between him and RVD. Now that Ricardo Rodriguez is on the side of RVD, even though RVD really doesn't need a mouthpiece. He doesn't need a mouthpiece. He doesn't need an announcer. He doesn't need all that, because RVD speaks for himself. Seriously. But I think it's more of the relevancy for Ricardo Rodriguez than it is for RVD. I still think the whole idea is just ridiculousness. But that's just me. But it seems that Christian did end up getting his comeuppance, because he gave him a cheap shot in the end and just walked out. But I think they're completely done with him. I think they hold 86 the whole idea with him and Daniel Bryan. With him and Alberto Del Rio. The Big Show and Mark Henry defeats 3MB in a 2-on-3 handicap match. Duh. We kind of knew that was going to happen. It's freaking 3MB. But honestly, they're really starting to begin a feud between Rollins and Reigns, which kind of makes me happy, because the Shield, the Tag Team Championships, is not being valued, even though the Shield is holding them. Like, the Shield was supposed to be the most dominant faction in WWE in the PG era right now, but they're not. They're just literally a bunch of jokes. Like, they're a bunch of glorified bodyguards. That's what they're becoming right now. And they're not as feared as they used to be. If they go against these guys and then they win, it may mean something. Like, seriously, the titles may mean something if they're able to beat them at Night of Champions. But I just don't feel that that's gonna happen. But just face it, those things look like just a bunch of nothing but a bunch of copper pennies just stamped on a bunch of leather. That's what it is right now. There's no value to that belt at all. And I'm hoping that this feud will actually bring out the value in those belts. Let's just hope, guys. Moving on from there. Ever since Darren Young came out of the closet, good grief did this guy be on a roll. I mean, it's great. It's really great to see that his career is not affected by him being gay. And not only that, it's doing a great thing for the primetime players. It's about freaking time, too. These guys really should have been in the whole tag team championship running since Abraham Washington left. They should have been going on doing this for a very long time. And this has been a long time coming. But it makes me really happy that because of Darren Young's choice, it's not going to affect his career, let alone affect anybody being around him. Now, I'm not going to lie. The last time I actually did see these two fight, I saw like a few differences, like they were uncomfortable being around him. But I didn't see that this time, and that makes me happy. Maybe they did give him a good talking to. Maybe they actually did, like, you know what, I'm sorry, dude. I don't know. Maybe something happened behind the scenes that kind of regulated the whole thing. But honestly, it was great to see everyone pretty much having great chemistry together and not feeling uncomfortable. And it was really great to see Darren Young going out there, defeating Antonio Cesaro, and not affecting his career. He's actually going to be pushed up from here, and I'm actually happy to see that. Now, here comes the main event, people. Daniel Bryan versus Wade Barrett in a steel cage match. Yeah, it's a steel cage match, which should make it awesome, but it's Daniel Bryan versus Wade Barrett, somebody we know that was going to eventually lose. So we're like, man. But it was a good match altogether, and Daniel Bryan really did give Wade Barrett a few good hits. But it's a given that, but here's the thing that kind of bothered me. If it's a steel cage, why do the pin? Like, why not leave the door? Or why not climb over? That's what a steel cage match is about. You use the steel cage as a means of exit. You don't pin them. That's what you should have for a DQ. So why not have a DQ match instead of have a steel cage match? We're gonna treat it like a DQ. They barely use the cage at all. Whatever they did use, not as a weapon, but they did use it for means to escape. I know Wade Barrett's done it a few times, but it still did not feel like a steel cage match. You use a steel cage as the exit. You don't pin them. What's the point of doing that? Just make it a DQ. But all in all, guys, SmackDown, overall thoughts of both shows, SmackDown really wasn't a bad show. They're actually trying to do something for the Night of Champions. I had kind of a good time with the whole segments that came up there, except for the whole Ryback thing. I am sick of the whole Ryback bully thing. But it really wasn't a bad show. As well as Impact. Impact has had its few shocking moments. And yes, I know I did not talk about Bobby Roode and Kazarian defeating James Storm and Gunner, because I am tired of James Storm. I like James Storm as a face, but for crying out loud, stop shouting on the mic. People can hear you. Please, you're making people deaf. All I have to say is, for people who shout on the mic really don't have anything to say, or really can't speak at all. But I really did not care much for that match, because I knew that Bobby Roode and Kazarian was going to win, because it's all about them right now. But honestly, guys, it was an okay show with a few shocking moments. Some things I really didn't expect. It was an okay show. I had no problem with it, as well as SmackDown. But guys, I want to hear what your thoughts are. Leave a comment in the comment section below, or send a video response on how you feel about TNA Impact or the Hardcore Edition, as well as SmackDown for Friday night. It's Nation Girl 30 signing off. Peace out. Later.